Hello and welcome to Food for Thought. I'm Ramona Singh and I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Today's episode is about how to experience more love. And joining me for this discussion is the group editor of Y Media, Yudhvir Jaswal. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much, Ramona ji. It's always a pleasure joining you here at Food for Thought. And I don't think so it could have been a better topic today at Food for Thought. How to experience more love. As we're discussing off the air, I was watching TV yesterday, and the song which was playing on TV was yesterday. This is the time of the year when the world falls in love. What a beautiful time, I must say.
Absolutely. It's so nice because during this time of year, you have all the decorations everywhere. You have, whether you go to the mall or, anywhere else, actually, like the movies, all the Christmas movies that play and all the decorations and the time that people have off during the Christmas holidays in, the Western Hemisphere, and kids are off from school. So it's a really nice time to be able to come together with your loved ones, to take some time off and take a break. I think everybody at this point has now gone on break, from their office reply. I know news doesn't end, but it's one of those things where it's about a time to, reflect, take some time for family, for self, and of course, all the gift giving. That's also a very nice time as well.
Yeah, and I think this is the time that we all can ask ourselves, because the topic that you're asking today is how to experience more love. So I'll request our audience, if they can ask themselves, did you experience more love this year? Do you want to experience more love next year? So I'm sure we all want more love. So I'm definitely eager to listen what you have to say. How can we experience more love? And actually, this also begs a question here. What exactly is love? As much as I would say the definition of love is quite fluid. And this is one word, love, which has very varied definitions. It's a very subjective term with our experiences in life, with our dynamics, with different relationships. We all have our own definitions of love. I want to hear, do you have any definition of love?
Yes, I think this is a great topic because for Christmas, and when you think about the birth of Jesus Christ and what is being celebrated, his whole message, his entire message in his teachings in his life was about love. And that's what, when you think about Jesus Christ, and we'll go through some of his quotes and we'll break that down, of course. So it's very fitting to focus on love. And also I think love is something that we can experience anytime, anywhere. But more specifically, I think it's a right time to discuss this, even in this world where right now things may feel hard or things may feel a little bit chaotic and disruptive, and we have wars that are going on, and we have a lot of things that may bring down people's emotions and make it feel so difficult. So it's always nice to be able to know that there is love and we can experience love. And what I mean by experience love is not so much wait till we get love, but this is something we can experience anytime, anywhere within ourselves. Because essentially, every feeling that we experience is a manifestation within ourselves. It's never outside of ourselves. It's just we assume that if there's an external factor that induces that feeling, we interpret it to have that feeling, whether it's happiness, joy, sadness, any feeling that there is, it's all experienced internal. It's just what message, what meaning do we give external events to induce those feelings within?
2 points on this one, what you just said. First of all, now this reminds me, I'm sure we've all heard, Laila Majnu in Arabic, in Persian, in Turkish, and of course in Indian languages as well. There's lots of movies also being made on this one. Movies are also being made on Romeo and Juliet as well. Let me talk about Laila and Majnu. I'm sure most of us know the story. But here's a guy, Majnu. He was called Majnu because then that means he felt madly in love with Laila. But then the emperor, he was also curious to know. He was intrigued that who is this Laila? Must be someone really beautiful, someone out of this world. So when the emperor saw Laila, she was a very ordinary girl. So he asked Majnu, there are so many other women, why would you just fall in love with Laila? So, and the same question was asked to Laila as well. So Laila made a very important statement, and a very similar statement was made by Majnu as well. Laila said, to look at Laila, you need to have the eyes of Majnu. And that's what Majnu said as well. He said, Emperor, look at Laila from my eyes. Then you'll feel what is Laila. The point that I'm trying to put across is more often than not, and you said from inside, more often than not, when we talk about love, we talk about characteristics which we look from outside. But actually, true love, the question that you've just asked is how to experience true love. When we start feeling from inside, when we tap into that love, kindness, compassion within ourselves, we'll feel love for everything. We can feel love for, I usually mention that, I can certainly feel love for the squirrel in my backyard. There was a time when I wasn't feeling that because yes, I was busy in my own world. But the Yudhvir was saying, we all have love definitely inside us. I strongly believe that we all have love inside us. Why? We did a show recently, what does God exist? And I think I came to the conclusion while doing the show that yes, God exists. And to feel God, God's expression is love. How can we feel God? Can I feel God in this pen? Can I feel God in this phone? Wherever I'm feeling love, that's expression of God. So wherever we feel love, wherever we feel God, I think it's all through our inside. If we can tap that energy, that compassion, that love from within ourselves, you said it right. We can always feel love. And love doesn't have any boundaries. Love is not anything, okay, there's no schedule to it. It's not like, okay, I want to feel loved in the morning. No, there's no schedule to it. We can feel it all the time. We can feel it all the time. It is within us all the time. And I've said this very often, and in the recent years, because I question myself, what is my purpose of life? What is my purpose of life? And I came to this conclusion a few years ago. The only purpose of my life could be, and this is my humble opinion, to love and be loved. This can be the only purpose of my life. And why I say to love first and then be loved. I hear, just before the show, we were discussing a very important point, and I hear this quite often, self-love, which is great. Self-love is great because if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, then it'll be challenging for us to love others. But we just did a prayer before the show. What did we do? We all held each other's hands. We created a loop. There was a flow of energy. And I asked a question, very simple question. Can we hug ourselves? Yes, we can. Can we, okay, here's my hand. Can I massage my hand? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. But the feeling of relaxing and someone else massaging our hand, massaging our feet, our body, it's very different. And here I'm only talking at a very shallow level, only the physical aspect. Imagine we are being loved by this whole universe, the squirrel in our backyard, the mother and child's love, the love with our parents, the love with our siblings, the love with our friends. Imagine if we can get so much love, and that will answer our question, how to experience more love. And I think if someone asks me, there are many people who would say that, yes, how do we do that? One of the things is, that's why I say the purpose of my life is to love and be loved. The more love we give, it'll come back in multifold. The more love we spread in this world, yes, we all have that thing in ourselves. Every human being, there is no person, yeah, we may have experienced different circumstances, and at times, I like your chart. It basically explains everything. In your chart, you always say, if we are in fear, can we love and be loved? I doubt so. Because You cannot have bananas on an apple tree. We cannot be fearful from inside, be in doubt, fearful, shame, or guilt, and say, I'm giving love and I experience love. No, that's not possible. We have to be in that zone of compassion, joy, bliss, awareness. Enlightenment is a totally different thing. So if we are in that zone, obviously we can love others. And obviously, I think we shouldn't be expecting anything back, because true love doesn't have any strings attached. But it's a natural phenomenon. This is what my experience is. I've experienced that. If I ask myself, did my parents love me as a kid? Of course they did. Did my siblings love me while growing up? Of course they did. Did I have good friends in school? Of course. And many co-workers, yes. But I am feeling it. I'm feeling it a lot more in the last few years. Again, to finally answer your question, how to experience more love. I think when I've started tapping into this energy, and when I start looking at everything around me from a position of love, from that energy, from a different vibration, when I am vibrating in a different zone, then I'm getting love from everywhere. It's not that suddenly my parents started loving me more. No, I'm experiencing more love. My parents started loving me. No. My siblings started loving me more. My friends started loving me more. No. It's the experience. And I think because I feel if someone asks me 50 years, 100 years from now, what do you want to, Yudhvir, if you want to define it in one word, this is what I aspire for. This is what I think. This is what I'm gearing towards. If someone wants me, I'm trying. If someone says, Yudhvir, we want to define you in one word, what will that one word be? Journalist, engineer, writer, an anchor. What do you want? Maybe successful, happy. What is it? What is just one word? The one word that I am aspiring, I'm trying. If someone remembers me, the one word that I think so, that should come to their mind is when they think about Yudhvir, is love. That's one word. And when I've started moving my journey in this direction, that's the time I felt the more I am giving love, I'm getting more and more love. That's how I felt. And this is my submission on how to experience more love. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully said. And especially the part where you said about when you focus on experiencing more love on a day-to-day basis and the joy you get by connecting to different things and different people and different events and situations, and you feel more love, it's not because your parents are now giving you more love. It's just now you've tapped into the frequency of love. If we want to take a look at that map of consciousness, which is what you were referring to, this is a great book if you want to take a look at it. It's Power versus Force. And in this book, there was 250,000 people that went through all the different emotions that they experienced, and then it was measured. And what you can see there is the numbers beside, shame, guilt, apathy, all those feelings, emotions that you see there, those numbers are measured in hertz. And so there you see that there's a frequency for when it comes to love, you're looking at 500 hertz versus the rest of them. So that is really up to you, because these are all, like whether you're at shame at 20 or desire at 125 or love at 500 or joy at 540, those are different realities. So you can't, so I know we all think we live in the same world, but there's actually many different worlds. And if you can take a look at any of those frequencies are a world of their own. They blend into each other because, you'll go from love to joy to peace and maybe back and forth or the other feelings, but that's essentially what's happening. So it's not so much that other people have to give you more or induce more or search for love. This is something that's readily available to us because we're in that vibrational frequency. So that's what I want to talk about today. And we're going to do an exercise of meditation to be able to remove some of those denser feelings of what we just saw with shame and guilt and apathy. And, as we let that go from our energetic field or what's in our thoughts, perhaps in a loop that's not allowing us to experience more love, because really it's a choice. Everything is a choice. It's from within. And we can even experience love with people we don't even know. Like as you watch content on any of the social media platforms, and you see a really cute baby, do you not experience a rush of love? You don't know that baby. Or when you see animals interacting with each other. So it's about what are some of, and this is something I read many years ago, and it was such a simple thing, but it was very profound, which was, what are some of the ways consciously, let's get very conscious about things. Consciously, do you feel like you experience love? You know, you could make a list. Okay, when I, receive a compliment or a present or anything, you can have a list, but then what if there's only 5 things on that list? How about you make that 5 things into 50 things? It could be something as simple as, when I have my morning tea, I experience love, right? Just the warmth of that drink, or in your case, your morning smoothie, when you taste all those different fruits and all of that, your taste buds, how about that? Or when I open my eyes and I, open my window and I just take a nice breath of fresh air, I experience love. How about we do this for this year? Make a list of all the things, because we got to get conscious about things before we can program it, before we can make it inherently within us. Because we're all operating at a certain software, right? From the time we're born to the age of 7, we are in a hypnotic state, taking in all our programming, right? In our mind, that's how our subconscious works. What love means, what family means, what success means, all of that we adopted from our family values, we adopted from within our household, within our culture, within our religion, within what's on TV. And then there's certain values or certain fears that will be programmed in there that don't serve us anymore. So the only way we can actually become aware of this is, let's make a list. So perhaps let's start with, what are some of the ways you experience love? And then we make a goal to make that times 10. Can we all do that? Is that something we can do? I think it's fairly easy. And make it very simple stuff. So it doesn't have to be extraordinary, like when I climb Mount Everest, I feel love. No, let it be something like a lot more simple, right? As in when I, hit grass or sand, or when I, take a bath or go for a swim, go to the beach, or when I listen to my favorite musician, whether it's a symphony, make that list. And then how about put yourself in those situations where you can experience it, and then keep doing that. Because what I'm talking about is for situations and circumstances, and maybe for individuals that maybe they're not feeling as much love, right? And this is something that we can do for ourselves. And when we're in that frequency of love, you're right, you will experience more love from family, friends, colleagues, strangers, everything. It's not because now they're doing something more, it's just because you're there and you're able to absorb it, feel it, because now you're aware of it. Sometimes we're not even aware when, like you said, the squirrel in the backyard, right? You're busy thought, you don't even know there's a squirrel. But now that you're actually in the body and very conscious of, what am I experiencing right now? Oh, this is a nice feeling. Oh, what is it? As that's happening and you're very tuned into right now, you'll notice a squirrel, or you'll notice very small things. You'll stop, the saying, stop and smell the roses. That's another way of experiencing love. Because we, in our society, the way we've seen it on, content or movies or media or books is that you fall in love with another person and you experience love with family, and that's it. And then you may love your job, or you may love your pet, or you may love your car. But it's so much more. There is no, like you said, boundaries to love. And love isn't transactional. You could love somebody even after they've passed on from this world, right? It's because it's abundant. There's no start or finish. There's none of that. But the more we enjoy that feeling of love, imagine what that does to your body. Like even on a cellular level, when you're not in fear, because what happens in fear, right? Your nervous system, gets shot, you release cortisol, you can start seeing the breakdown of somebody who's in anger or fear over a very long period of time. But when they're in that state of love, imagine what that does for their body, the way they look, the way they show up, and the way they talk, the choice of words. the emotions that they exude, and it's a whole game changer. But like that map of consciousness, those are all different worlds, you know, and all of us are living our own reality of our world. So it's nice to be able to help one another by doing, you know, we've seen acts of kindness, say nice things, you know, and show love without any expectations, because if we're doing something for reciprocation, then we'll be really disappointed in life, right? Because you don't necessarily experience love because someone's going to give it to you. You experience love as you give a gift. Like, how happy do you get when you get somebody a gift and they like open the gift and they're so happy? And then you realize, oh, you know, I really thought they would like that, and they actually do. Don't you feel love? That's when you give something, you're experiencing that love, not necessarily when someone gives you something. So there's always that, you know, when you hold a door for someone, they say, thank you so much. You feel good, right? Or when you, like the trend that was happening for a while where you would, you know, pull up to the drive-through at a coffee shop and then you would pay for the people behind you. And then they come up and it's like, that was a stranger who did something like that. So there's always, we can do that for one another, because in a time where things feel really hard, maybe not in our families, maybe not within ourselves, but when we look at what's happening around the world and it feels really hard, these are the times even more we need to extend that love and extend. And what is love? It's prayer, right? It's good wishes. It's blessings. It's you know, positive thoughts for others. You know, the love isn't just saying it. There's a lot of or wanting somebody to get through a hard time easier, or to feel calmer. It's a lot of good wishes and good intentions, right? And our intentions really set the tone of everything, right? It's not just the words or the actions, but like, what are your thoughts and feelings behind it that will create that?
Yeah, very good points that you just made. Just quickly adding on to the few points that you just made. Yeah, I mean, when you are in a feeling of love, and when I say you're in a feeling of love, that doesn't necessarily mean you're being loved or you're loved. It could be either way, you're being loved or you're loving. So that does affect us at a very cellular level as well. The chemicals that are being released, the hormones, you know, everything at a very cellular level is in a you're in a very different zone. I have felt it that way when I'm loving someone, or you feel that you're being loved, you know. And I've said that this for many, many years on radio. I'll say that again today on TV as well. I've said this for many years, you know. What brings happiness to life? Do you want to be happy? Of course, you all want to be happy. But what brings happiness to life? If I give you the latest gadget, will you be happy? If I gift you a big car, house, what will make you happy, you know? Or if I take away anything, will you be happy? I think that's what I've always said, you know, wealth and poverty both having failed. I mean, I don't think so that's one single criteria. What brings happiness to life? Wealth and poverty both having failed, the conviction that we're being loved by someone is the greatest happiness on this earth. I feel so grounded. I feel so happy when I see people around me, they love me, and I love them. And I always start, the purpose of my life is to love and be loved, to love first. Yes, as much as, yeah, you're right. There shouldn't be any strings attached. And love is a journey. It's not like, okay, it shouldn't, usually, as you just mentioned, when we fall in love with some person, you know, yes, there are worldly things we always want, okay, if you fall in love with someone, yes, they have to be girlfriend or boyfriend, they have to get married. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, that's fine. That is fine. That's still love. Love, is it a feeling or a choice? You just mentioned it's a choice, and you've actually, while you're talking, you used both the words just now. You're right. You used it separately, but together it is like that. Love is a feeling, and it's a choice as well. So if it was just a feeling, it could come and go. Before we start the relationship, during the relationship, and finally if someone gets married, throughout that whole time, because love is a feeling. Yes, it could come, it could go. There'll be various degrees of love being exchanged, but what's the important thing? The second part that you just mentioned, choice. No, it is our choice. It is our choice. And that's what I made a distinction. If you remember, I guess it was our first few episodes when we discussed. And I still remember you said, I'm quite intrigued to know what is true love. Are you the love crew? I say no. But yeah, that's my clarity of thought. Uh, True love doesn't fade away. No, that's what true love is. As much as we're using this word, what is love? Love is just we're using a word. True love is just we're trying to define that. But true love is forever. It doesn't fade away. It has no, requirement. It has no boundaries. It's not dependent upon anything that this relationship has to, culminate to this thing. No, true love doesn't fade away. It's forever. As much as in today's generation, and sometimes I hear it quite often, forever is the biggest lie. Fine. But if I may ask, would your mother ever stop loving you? Would your mother ever stop loving you? No, I guess it's forever. And you said, rightly said so. Even when our parents pass away, they're still loving us. My dad has passed away, but I strongly feel his love. When I have his picture in my bedroom, every morning when I wake up, my mom, dad, and then there's my Guruji, and then it's me and Preeti. I have all these 3 pictures, 6 people there in those pictures, and I feel my father's love every day. It won't go away. It'll never fade, because yes, that is true love, and that's why I say it is forever. Please.
Yes, and your father who's passed, you're feeling his love because you've allowed it to feel inside it.
Yeah.
It's not an external thing, it's how you feel inside when you think about him, when you look at that picture. And that is the choices we have in life, to allow those feelings of love and joy and peace and wonder and gratitude, which is all parts of love, to be felt. Now, let's talk about something really important about, which is the topic, which is how do we experience more love? A precursor to that is, I think, we need to talk about the concept of karma, okay? And we're all governed by karma, right? Maybe it's called a different thing in different schools of thought, different religions, different cultures. In some religions, it's heaven or hell, right? The experience you'll have based on your actions. And then but essentially karma is any action, reaction, intention I will experience. Now, a couple of things about that is, when it comes to nature, right? Do we control if the sun comes up?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. We don't control if the sun comes up. We don't control if the sun goes down. We don't control the moon phases, if it's a full moon or new moon. We don't control the tide of the water. We don't control any of those things. We don't control thunderstorm, anything when it comes to natural law, we don't control. And on the other side is when it comes to people we know, people we love, people we care about, we also cannot control how they live their life or what they experience. All we can do is have good wishes. We can pray for them. We could show them, be an inspiration by the way we, are towards them, and by the love we give them, by the service we give to people around us. But we cannot step in for someone and give them rest. Like, for example, I cannot sleep 8 hours just so, my mom is well rested, right? I can't digest my father's food. Like, I can't step in and do anything for someone else. I can just give comfort, I can give advice, I can give, consistency in how I show up for them, but I cannot step in their shoes and take the exam for them, or to experience more love within themselves, or to, subside their fears. I cannot do any of that. So what can I actually do? I don't control the sun, I don't control the moon. I can't do those things for loved ones or people I care about, aside from pray for them and be as good as I can in those relationships and how I show up. But what I do have control over is if I get enough rest, if I, eat the right foods to digest, if I decide how I react or not react, lack thereof, right, in any circumstance. I have control. When I say control, I don't mean I mean I have a choice, right? I have free will. I have the choice on the words I use or the words I don't use. So if we go back to that and we realize, well, really, in all the news I watch and all the stories I read and all the people I talk to and all, I can't control any of that, right? Or I can't change any of that stuff. What I can do is, how do I show up energetically? So physically, yes, I'm here, but how do I show up energetically? Your father's experience, how you experience love from your father, that's him showing up energetically. Not physically, but on this energetic level, you're still experiencing that love. So how do I show up energetically? Now, the reason I come back to karma is that I get to, based on my actions, my words, my thoughts, my intentions, I create that karma for myself, right? So I do good, my karmas are gonna feel just as good. Now, the reason we say the Ho'oponopono, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, it's 4 sentences, it's a Hawaiian prayer, you do that, it cleans up. And the karma is because I'm sorry is, I don't know, maybe I know what I did that I'm apologizing for, maybe I don't know what I did. Because there's times where I'm not aware, right? Maybe my consciousness is not expanded enough to know when I should be sorry for something. Maybe I said something wrong, not wrong, but I said something that made you feel not so well. Or I did something, or maybe I didn't do it. So all of that is there's that apology. And then there is, the forgiveness for yourself. You also want to say sorry to yourself. I'm sorry for being so hard on you. Or maybe I'm sorry for not being as hard on you. To yourself, I'm talking about, right? I'm sorry I didn't commit to what you wanted to go after. Or I'm sorry I made you commit so much that you gave up on other things, right? There's a lot of things you could say sorry to for yourself. But there's the karmic factor is that, just like Buddhaji, he, through his meditative state, he was able to see his lives and he was able to learn the lesson. So everybody has their challenges. There's nobody without challenges, because therefore, the concept of life and our existence here, because everyone has free will and we have free will, we'll experience challenges. We'll experience things that maybe doesn't make us feel so good. And we'll, that map of consciousness, there's going to be those emotions that we're going to experience. But the main thing is this. Perhaps it's your karma, perhaps it's my karma, but when it's paid up, it's clear. This world has the perfect accounting system. Like accounts receivables, accounts payable, it's perfect, right? So just like I don't control the sun, when there's sunrise and there's sunset, I do not control the perfect accounting system this universe has. What I do control is my own actions or lack thereof. So how I show up, because with anything, so let's just say my action is to do something that is perceived very kind, but my intentions are completely the opposite. Well, then the accounting system in this world is going to measure me on my intentions. So for example, let's just say I give a donation, right? But I want everyone to see my donation and the amount. And I want it to be on front page of midweek, right? Now, what was my intention? Was my intention so I could be perceived generous, kind, thoughtful, or wealthy? Or do I just want to give and I don't need the recognition? Maybe I don't even need my name on the amount that's donated. So it's really your intention. So, within every action, within every words, maybe I say the most kind things to you, but my intention is not that you would do so well. I'm going to say, oh, you're going to do something that may feel challenging to you, and you're up for something, and I give you the most, comforting words, but I secretly hope that you don't get it. So that my karma will be based on my thoughts and my intention, but then or do I wish you the well, and I think about it, and I really genuinely mean it, then you're even on even, right? In terms of your action and then your thoughts. So if I can't, you know, get enough rest for my loved ones. I can't step into their shoes and help them pass that exam or overcome that challenge or whatever the case is, and I can't control the universe, but I can control my own thoughts and my feelings, and I can control how I show up, and knowing that every little thing, even the minutest little thing, there is an accounting system. I do have a bank account, the karmic bank account, and there might be, you know, a lot in there that you will need to, you know, run your card on to be able to when you really need it, or there might not be enough. So what you're doing, what you have today is from your previous karma. So, okay, so let's just say everything's going very smooth for me. Well, thank goodness for my previous karma, because there's a perfect accounting system, I'm experiencing that. It's for future savings. So then I think to myself, then what do I need to do in this moment for my other future savings? Right? Because I'm constantly using it up on a day-to-day basis. So it's very important to be mindful, because that is really all we have control over. So now we want to experience more love, and we don't want to experience any of those other feelings. Well, let's not create some of those feelings. Let's not create it by not wishing well. Even something as little as talking about somebody, right? Or like even what we do in terms of just anything when it comes to what we think is our opinion, that's also creating karma. Because what we're doing is we're putting a certain energetic frequency out there about that person. You don't think they're going to feel it? They're going to feel it. So can you imagine the people who are overly exposed in our media, and when there's a backlash towards them, oh yeah, that's a big energetic thing towards them. So I know where I'm talking about all the little things to big things, but all of that goes into that perfect accounting system, because that's something we don't escape. But we can contribute to what we're going to get and we're going to receive. Now, do it because you don't expect anything back. Because if I'm doing something, let's just say, based on what I'm saying, I'm doing something because I expect the karmic return, my intention is incorrect, because I'm not doing it out of like pure goodness, right? I'm doing it because I want reciprocation. I look at it more transactional. So all of that given in place, I think that's really important, and I want to do a meditation to start letting go of some of these denser feelings that bring us down and perhaps take up too much space. Because think about it this way. Sorry, what?
Yeah, and I was listening to you. If you allow me,
Yeah,
I just wanted to quickly add on to something.
Yeah.
If you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? You said some very good things. You know, and just wanted to add on to that. Just a passing remark for someone, or any time we gossip about someone. I think how do we experience more love? And you're talking about karma. I'll try to connect all these things. What I try to practice is, first of all, I'm not going to judge anyone. So when I'm not going to judge anyone, for me, everyone is a representation of God. Everyone. I'm trying again. Do I tell myself I'm 100% there? Absolutely not. No. You're right. Everyone has their own challenges. I have my challenges too. And the only thing is that, yes, I'm trying to be more and more mindful that I do not judge anyone. So someone could have done very terrible thing. In media, I report it. The law will take its own course. But even if the law says this person has to be crucified, or it's a death penalty for this person, and that person walks inside our office right now, or a studio right now, my only reaction would be love and hug with that person, because I could have done even worse things if I was in his position. I don't know his whole story, or even if I know, right? As I've just mentioned, I could have done even worse things. So I'm not going to judge any person in this world, because I see everyone from this position, and I'll quote Rumi here once again. They say that where do you find God? Is God there at a synagogue, or in a Sikh temple, or a Hindu temple, or in a church? But there's one place where definitely God lives. Rumi said that, in a lover's heart. So anyone who is loving, we all have that loving heart. I believe so. Lover's heart doesn't, for me, lover's heart doesn't mean the heart of Laila or heart of Majnu. Right? Lover's heart means everyone's heart. So everyone has God within themselves. Everyone has that love within themselves. So I cannot break their heart, because then I'm hurting God. And that's what connects me to karma. I'm not really focusing right now that what's going to happen after my life. Karma, basically, it's theory in Vedas. I'm sure it's a theory in other religions as well, and I've read a little bit in other religions. But for sure, I've read a lot about it. Started from Vedas. What's the karma theory? So I'm not really focused right now what will happen to me after life or before life. And also, you said very nicely, the accounting thing. Yes, possibly there could be the best accounting practices the universe could be doing, but I'm not focusing on that, because when I'm not judging anyone, when I'm not trying to hurt anyone, when I'm trying to be full of love for everyone, and I'm not expecting though, but I'm getting a lot of love in return, then I feel good. This is who I am. This is my very ethos. This is my essence. This is what Yudhir Jaswal is. So this is what I'm loving. And as much as I believe, you're talking about heaven and hell. I mean, if people around me, I'm loving them and they're loving me, this itself is heaven for me right now as we speak. And just in case, if it was the opposite, I was thinking not good about others, I'm not passing on this energy of love, and I'm not getting love in exchange, right? So imagine, this could be hell for me. So heaven and hell is right here, whatever world we create. That's how I think. Will there be no repercussions? Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, many other leaders who did so good in their lives, they faced the worst consequence. 1948, Mahatma Gandhi was shot dead. Martin Luther King. There are many others who face worse consequences, but so be it. But whatever life they lived, there was one thing in common. When they say Time Person of the Year, it was not Albert Einstein's intellectual strength that yes, he was offered to become the president of Israel. It wasn't Mahatma Gandhiji's this strength that he could liberate India. It was their love for humanity that still resonates, that people still call them as the Time Person of the century. And I also strongly believe that yes, it'll never be about my engineering thing or my journalistic thing or knowledge, intelligence. It could be a genius, but at the end of the day, if I can bring out that love, if I can tap that energy, I think I'm in my best, vibration. And last thing, I really love that always, and today once again, something triggered in me when I saw that map of consciousness once again. We're looking at, when I was looking at that map, anytime I look at that, I always get a great feeling. So when I was looking at that map of consciousness today, I was looking at shame, guilt, fear at the bottom. And there was love at around 500. How do we get to that position of love, and how do we move further to peace, joy, and finally I think the top, it's enlightenment. I could be wrong, but my strong belief is the biggest tool, because I strongly believe the most powerful thing in the world is love. That's the most powerful thing in the world. There's nothing more powerful than that. So how do I make sure that I'm not in that zone, the fear, shame, guilt, or was there anxiety, anxious, or I don't know whether whatever all those things were. Wherever there is love, whenever you're giving or experience love, no way, we cannot have all these things. There won't be. And you're moving up in that vibrations. And it is only and only through love we can reach joy, peace, enlightenment. This is in Punjabi. I'll say it in Punjabi and say it in English as well. Jin prem kiyo, tinhi prapayo. Jin prem kiyo, tinhi prapayo. It's only those who love will meet God. And I'm emphasizing on the word in Punjabi, tinhi, only. Only those who love will feel God or meet God. So if someone says, I don't have love in my life and I'm enlightened, it's like someone telling me, I'm an Olympic champion in swimming, but I've never touched water. You're an Olympic champion in swimming and you've never touched water, that's not possible. Very similarly, it's only love which can really help us in moving towards peace, joy, bliss, enlightenment.
Yes, yes. One thing about the karmic cycle is that what you're experiencing is also from this life. So you don't necessarily have to think about past lives or future lives. It's really by the moment. And so let's think about if you feel like you're in a situation where you've experienced injustice and it hurt you so much. Now, when you look at it through the lens of karma, you got to also step back and say, okay, did I ever, like, what is it about this situation that feels so painful or so hurtful? And then you can list it out. You know, I feel like I experienced this, everything is an experience, right, within. And then the right question to go through is, have I done that to someone else? Maybe not this person, right? But how about, because it's an accounting system, right? It's as I do or I don't, it comes back. Yeah. So have I done this to someone else or in another situation? Regardless of the memory of, and really like an honest thought, instead of, because it's very easy to go into a mode of feeling something and then feeling, you know, just from our perspective. Because yeah, we're experiencing it in ourselves, but then there's a moment where, okay, you're experiencing what you are, but let's look at it objectively. Have I been a culprit of that, knowingly or unknowingly? And then there's absolutely, I would say, sense of peace that comes with when you say, oh yeah, I've done that before. I could see how that would be misconstrued, or I could see how, yeah, you know, that really brings it full circle. Because as you experience it, you really realize what someone else experienced. And when it comes to, you know, Jesus Christ, he was a big advocate of it. There was this one parable where everybody picked up a stone to cast at the sinner, and he stopped them and says, you know, only the person who can cast a stone is someone who's never committed a sin. And then everybody had to drop their stones, because in that time they would stone someone who was a sinner. So in that moment when we feel so righteous to point a finger or to judge with so much conviction and the words and the energy that goes out there. But then when you think, like, have I ever, maybe not that same thing, but have I ever done something wrong or said something wrong? Absolutely. We have free will. There's consciously, unconsciously, knowingly, unknowingly, we've done and said things. So it's about bringing that awareness back into, what am I saying? What am I thinking? What am I wishing? What are my intentions behind my actions or lack thereof? And really becoming aware of that and knowing, not because you fear karma, but because you want to also experience more love in your life. What does more love mean? A precursor to joy and peace was love on that map of consciousness. You feel love, for sure you're going to feel joy, because love, right? A byproduct of love is joy. And then a byproduct of feeling love, which is not fear, is peace. And so it builds up from that. So let's just say you feel like there is something that's happened and it makes you not feel so good. Definitely you don't want to seek revenge, because if the world has the perfect accounting system, your revenge means nothing. Your conviction means nothing, because it's going to handle itself. Now, let's just say I feel like I've been wronged and I feel like I should take justice in my own hands and I want to seek revenge. And then I say, oh, look, this for that, tit for tat, an eye for an eye sort of mentality. Well, guess what's happened? Now I've created new karma for myself. Even though I could argue intellectually that I did exactly the same thing they did to me, but there's the perfect accounting system. They're going to get theirs, I'm going to get mine. So how do we get to a point where we don't need to seek revenge? Even if we feel like we've been wronged, even if we think about, have I ever done this to someone or said this, or have I created an environment that wasn't so pleasant? And get to that point. You want to say something?
Yeah. I think the only worst thing that we can do to ourselves is get into that vicious cycle of taking the revenge. I think if anyone has wronged me, I'm training myself that until I've been quite successful at that. I won't say am I 100% there. I'm still working a lot on that one. I strongly feel they need a lot more of my love, because if someone has wronged me, they could be facing some challenges in life.
Yeah.
So first of all, who am I to forgive, let alone taking revenge? No, I'm nobody to forgive them. It's for God. God will forgive them. I don't want this perfect accounting system over here acting that yes, someone has done something wrong on me and yes, something wrong should be. No, I don't want that thing to work as any perfect accounting system. I don't want to forgive them because even forgiving them as if, yes, I'm forgiving them. No, I don't want to do that. If there is anything that I want to answer back, it's all love. It's all love. That's what I want to train myself. And again, I'm being selfish here. Because then what happens, I'm in a very different vibration. I want to stay in that vibration all the time. As we started the show, I always want to feel loved and love. I want to stay in the vibration. You're right. It's a byproduct of this love that I'm in joy, bliss, happiness all the time. Because God is always communicating to me, Yudhvir, your life has been a fairy tale. Yeah, you had your challenges. I had my own fair share of challenges in my life. My father passed away. I had many financial struggle doesn't mean you have less money. Financial struggle also means when you have to pay a lot of, you have a lot of money in the bank, but your requirement is even more, maybe because of business or so many other things. That in itself is huge stress. So I've had my many challenges, but I've always stayed in this zone, in this vibration, because it's very easy to say, why me? I was wronged, injustice for me. But I think it's more important to be in that zone, in that vibration all the time, that yes, this universe was always too good to me. All I have to do is not judge anyone, just stay in that vibration of loving everyone. And of course, love will come back to you.
Absolutely. And so you're talking about two different things here. One is when you feel like you've been wronged and you feel the emotion and you experience it, and then still choosing, you know what, I'm not going to react. I'm going to allow that to pass. And that's where forgiveness for the situation comes through. You're talking about a level which we all hope to aspire to, is the situation occurs and the person's unaffected by the situation because A, they don't take it personally, and B, they know it's just all about love. I'm just going to give love. And that is the best place to be. So it's all about where are we in our lives? Where are we in each situation? Some situations will be more challenging than others, where maybe we'll be a little bit affected. But the whole purpose of what Buddhaji taught through meditation was become to a point where you have so much bliss in that moment of being alive and experiencing what a miraculous experience it is to be breathing, living, experiencing things, that you don't take offense when it's being thrown at you. And then so it's all about where are we in our journey, but being mindful of the big picture of getting to a point where, let's not be, let's not feel it. But the thing is, when it comes to karma, sometimes we experience it through our closest relationships, because our family members, our loved ones, people we work close to, those are the people we're most affected by. And so anybody who's experiencing any challenges within their personal relationships, that's when it gets very personal, as opposed to somebody maybe you don't know on the streets. And through that comes with a lot of prayer and staying still and understanding that they're experiencing something, perhaps they're just, putting it out there. And if we can show in love, and sometimes maybe you need a little bit of space to kind of gather yourself so you could be more in love and show more kindness, because that is what's really needed. And so I think it's also very important. I think we'll do a whole episode on how do we create forgiveness, because some people have challenging relationships when it comes to their parents or their siblings, and maybe we don't know why. Maybe it's a karmic thing, and maybe there's, and here's the other thing. When I say karmic, it means there's a lesson. Buddhaji was able to get enlightenment because he was able to get the lessons, understand the cause and effect of things. So anything we're experiencing where the emotion feels so difficult, like the lower vibrational emotions, you experience it, step outside of it and say, what's my lesson here? What am I supposed to learn? Is it for me to learn more patience? Am I supposed to learn more kindness without reciprocation? Am I supposed to maybe put myself in the other person's shoes and experience maybe how difficult it is from their perspective? There's always something. Like all of those challenging situations give us a chance to expand our consciousness, really. And if we focus more on that than the emotion itself, on how we feel, it's easier to overcome it. And it's easier to not reciprocate it on the same level, because then that's when things multiply. We've seen scenarios where two people will say, oh, they could swear they're enemies. But if you were to ask them, well, when did it start? What was the origin? Sometimes it's lost because it's been layered on layered on layered. And it just multiplied and multiplied. And I think it's important to talk about all extremes of situations, because somebody might be saying, hey, I'm experiencing that. And that's why, actually, I'll go into some of Jesus Christ's quotes since it's our Christmas special. Yeah. This is one quote that he says, "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who spitefully use you." So his message of his life was always about, if you're slapped, give them the other cheek to slap. It was always about, and you could even reduce it down to, don't create karma. If you want to really come to the basis of, you don't need to do that in return. Oh, let me show you, or let me seek revenge, or let me, match that intensity of emotion. His message was always, do the opposite. Show up in love, because what do? Then you transmute that energy into love. Because energy can be transmuted, it cannot be destroyed nor created. So if something comes out force at you, and if you don't react like in his words, love your enemies. Somebody who considers themselves an enemy would show harsher feelings towards someone. But imagine you transmute that, you change that to love. How will they feel? Because maybe they need more love. So how do you get to a point, like what you were saying, become so unaffected by it, because you also feel that, Christ would always talk about God as his Father. And if you really think about it, well, that is where we all come from, and that's where we're going. So is that father? Is that mother? And also, is that why he referred to others as brother and sister? He would say, my brother, my sister, right? Because we all come from the same place, we're going to the same place. So even if you're having a hard relationship with parents or your siblings, well, your father is the creator. These are relationships that are here to teach you to become more loving, to become more kind, because you're on the experience side of it. Do you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
I quickly wanted to add this thing. This is what I've learned from you. As much as within myself, there could be a lot of compassion, kindness, forgiveness, but I'm more impulsive, and I'm trying to change that. I've changed a lot, and that has really affected when I'm playing sports as well. So even when I'm playing sports, one of the challenges that I've faced is that yes, I'm impulsive when playing sports as well, and I'm impulsive in my life as well. But when I say what makes you really graceful, of course, the way you dress up, the way you talk, the words that you use, but very importantly, if you're not impulsive. And I've seen you more often than not, you're not impulsive. You very rarely are impulsive. I've seen you many times, and that's what I've learned from you, not to be impulsive. As much as you may not like something which is said by me or others, and I can sense that. But I observe your reaction. Your reaction is very calm, and then you would like to know in a very calm way, like this. And as much as we have to be very compassionate, loving, forgiving, all these things, but our sudden impulse, that also we should take care of that. And I'm learning a lot on that one. Choice of words. Enemy, someone else can consider me an enemy. But I'll never, my choice of words has to be, this is what I've tried in the last few years. Was I like this always? No. My choice of words was very different. I mean, I don't really focus on this one. But now from last few years, I've really focused a lot on this one, my choice of words. There cannot be any enemy for me. No way, no way. If like Jesus says this, love your neighbor as if you're loving yourself. So if neighbor doesn't mean just a neighbor. Neighbor means the entire world.
Yes.
Of all the 8 billion people, I have to love all of them as if they're my neighbor, as if we are one. So there cannot be anyone who is enemy, not at all, no.
Yeah, and I want to say something about when I talked about anyone experiencing difficult relationships with parents.
Yeah.
Your parents brought you into this world.
Yeah.
And any time, and even regardless of any difficulty that it's experienced, is about being grateful for the people who brought you here to experience this life, to be able to, the miraculous and the wonder and the blessing this life is. And that's what you're grateful for. And to be able to let go of the rest, because when it comes to blessing someone, when it comes to, we talk about healing a lot. Well, how do we heal? It's through love. When you love someone, you're healing them. And you're healing yourself because you're loving someone. When you're loving someone, you're experiencing the love that you're giving. You're not giving something without experiencing it. It doesn't happen, right? It's always, like even the words, right? You're speaking for someone to hear, but you're experiencing your words as you're saying it. So everything comes from that experience. And so when you love, and there's so much healing in love, guess what? If you think about your parents and then give that love, do you know it multiplies? We talked about the induction of doing a prayer and in a circle with everyone and holding hands and what that creates. It creates like a magnitude multifold when you think about your parents, you send love and gratitude to them regardless of any scenario because they gave you life, and then you love and then you bless. The healing that comes from that, it's next level, because a mother who has the child who's pregnant for 9 months and goes through the process of creating life, through the blessing that comes for that mother, that energetic ability to create a human being. And when you take your mom's name, oh my goodness, you can do so much, and other people will feel it. So this is not something to be overlooked at all. So there should be a lot of healing and peace that comes from these relationships that are really important. And even if they've passed, it's you can still feel the energy. You think about your father, you look at his picture, and or your mother lives halfway across the world, you still feel her love. So when you want to send your blessings, think to your parents first, thank them, and then send it on to others. It's going to be amazing. Another quote by Jesus' teachings. He says, "Give to everyone who begs from you, and of him who takes away your goods, do not ask them again. And as you wish that men would do to you, do so to them." So what he's saying is, let it go. If someone's asking you or begging you for something, provide. Because the universe has supported you enough to have to give. Even if you don't have, know that it's always supporting you and generating. Like, can you pinpoint the moment you feel like you became successful? No. Can you pinpoint the moment you feel like you became smart? No. Can you pinpoint the moment you developed a skill? No. Can you pinpoint a moment you developed a talent? No. That's a universal gift. That's not because you went and paid for your talent and then someone gave it to you. You can't buy it, right? So these are all things that when he says, give, if somebody, he says begs, but even asks. It says to him who also takes away from you, takes your goods, so your stuff. He says, don't ask for it again. Let it, give it away in peace, because the universe is always providing for you. It's not, I give to you, give back to me. There's that's why we went back to the concept of the karma, perfect accounting system. You don't have to worry. It's, we can't even do any, we didn't even start it or stop. It's just the way it works, just like the sun and the moon, it's the way it works. The other one, which I think is really great, is, and I think you'll like this one. Jesus Christ says, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same.
Beautiful.
Right?
Very nice.
Which goes again to the foundational thought of love, right? Don't just, we're not just loving the people who love us. We're loving regardless. That squirrel you mentioned, I keep thinking about it. Does squirrel know you exist? Maybe, maybe not. But hoping that it finds food. And they're so cute when they eat, and the way they behave, they're very cute. That's a lot of love you experience by just watching them. And so it comes back to, it's there at all times. And then the one that I already covered was, let the one among you who's without sin be the first to cast a stone. And that comes with our words, our intentions. So anytime we want to get on Facebook or social media and write a really mean comment about something, it goes down to, that's casting a stone. That's stoning someone, the same concept, but now it's in the virtual world, but it actually, that energy, that they feel it. Just like how they would feel a stone by reading it. And then the other one is, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Again, it's interesting because everything he talks about go back to that circle of life, right? If you show mercy, you're not showing mercy because you expect mercy in return. What is mercy? It's also a form of love, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good points that you made. I want to go to a few points that you made. One of the things that you said regarding our siblings or parents. Yeah, I've always felt this one that, say for instance, someone was born, like our parents. Someone was born, they could be born, I'm just throwing a random number here, 1950.
Yeah.
So if someone is born 1950, okay, the child is born at, say for instance, 1980. And then there's another child born at 1985, then there's another child born at 1990. So three children, both the parents were born in 1950. Now what is happening, the moment anybody comes to this planet, the time for leaving this planet is set. What is in the middle? There's an overlap. There is an overlap for those years when when we will be with our parents. There is an overlap when we will be with our siblings. There is an overlap when we will be with our friends. So my theory is very simple: make the best possible use of that overlap that we have, because there will be a time that we may not be able to physically meet them, biologically meet them. They, yes, at a spiritual level, they could be with us, but yes, it's a reality for our parents, for our siblings, and there's no guarantee who's going to leave this planet first. There's no guarantee. As much as we take, okay, fine, we're going to live for another 20 years, 30 years, which is fine, but there is no guarantee. So I always think that yes, let's make the best possible use of this time. And what's the best possible use of this time? The basic question that we are addressing today: how can we experience more love? When there is exchange of love with our parents, with our siblings, with our friends, family members, or anybody around, anybody, that is the best possible use of my time. That's what I think. One thing which is very important, you just said love is also healing. Love, I would rate the highest form of healing. Highest form of healing is love. Whenever there is exchange of love, that is the highest form of healing. Anything else will come way down. Anything else, you tell me, anybody can tell me, and yes, there are other forms of healing too, but it'll come way down. Love is the best form of healing. And say, for instance, we meet a person, and that person is a mirror to us. And the person, because we cannot see ourselves, there's no way, I cannot see my nose, I cannot see my ears. No, there's no way I can see my own nose, ears, my hair. No, I cannot see that. It's only you or someone else, they can see that. I could see it in the mirror, but not, that's just a mirror reflection. It's not exactly. Very similarly, we cannot see our soul. We can experience it, we can tap into that, but the best healing sometimes comes when my friend walks in, my sibling walks in, my parents, they walk in, and we hug each other. Oh my God, we don't talk to each other. We could be crying for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we're hugging each other. And after that, we're just sitting, we're talking. We don't start talking about our traumas or something. We could, we may not. But that feeling, whether it comes through our family member, whether it comes through a friend, whether even a stranger for that matter, and someone really, this is why I feel in a bliss whenever I think of all those things. How is it possible that, Yudhvir, there are so many people who you love and they love you? How is it even that possible? I keep on asking this question. There's nothing short of miracle. And the only thing that I try to do is just keep, love and be loved. Yes, of course, if I get back, it's fine. But my objective is to keep on loving, because I don't find this nothing short of a miracle. Having parents that also is a miracle. We cannot be born without our parents. That's fine. I agree on that one. But was it a guarantee that our parents won't pass away the moment we come into this world? Having parents with us is miracle. Having siblings, where was it guaranteed that our siblings will survive or we will have siblings? No. That is a miracle. Realize that is a miracle. Feel that, heal that, love them. Having friends who are dear to you, like my childhood friends. One of my friends, Shuminder, he's celebrating his 50th birthday. I'm going to record a video for him today. His wife, Navdeep, she keeps bugging me, send the video. He's like more than a brother to me. This is a miracle. So this is the exchange of love. So imagine we meet someone who is loving us. I'll try my best. I will try my best. I love them. I'll not let anybody go. Okay, it's destiny. It's destiny, whether they're my friends. I will always be the first one to say sorry to my friends, to my wife, to anyone, to my parents, to anyone, because I don't want to waste a single second. In not saying sorry about ego or about anything. No, not at all, because that's how we can address that question, how we can experience more love. I think we have to do this.
Yes. So we're gonna do very short meditation, but it's going to put us in a state where We want to wash away all of those feelings that are taking up so much space so we can bring the love in.
Right.
So any of those challenging feelings, any of those hurts, or anything that is taking up any space in our mind, our heart, our energetic space, we want to be able to let that go. And I'm gonna, before we do that, I want to really talk about this specific teaching by Jesus Christ. He says, "So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you. Search and you'll find. Knock and the door will be opened for you." So what does that mean? If we're searching, let's just say we're searching for more peace of mind, more harmony, we're searching for some of those things, pray. You know, pray to the God you believe in. Pray and worship the way that, you know, works for you, that you feel is in your heart, and ask for that. Ask. Don't feel like you shouldn't, or you feel guilty by asking, or maybe you should know it, or maybe you think you don't deserve it. You know, it's important to also tap into, like, why aren't I putting myself in that situation? Because all of the, you know, God, any of the saints, anybody that you believe in, they carry an energy. What we're really doing today by going through some of these teachings is getting in touch with that energy and then reflecting on it. So when you pray to God, it's the same thing. God's the creator. It's that energy. So here it goes again. Ask and it will be given to you. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened for you. Have you ever done any of those three and never received?
I've said this many times, I'll say this again, to the point that I don't think so. You know, I'm very mindful that what I even think of asking God, never in my life, you know, I mean, God has given me everything. And I'll say this in Punjabi, once again, जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने से सोई सोई देवे, जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने से सोई सोई देवे. What this is exactly the same thing. Whatever we'll ask from God, there is no way. Whatever we ask from God, from this universe, we will get it. Yeah, but I always tell this to myself. I'm not saying this to anyone else, but I always tell this to myself. You will be very, very conscious. Be very conscious what you think. Have very good clarity of mind, because you will get it. You will get it. And I think if God says, if I were to ask, okay, at this point, and why don't we do this thing? And also, if you want to share, if God were to give you something right now as we speak, what would you ask? So if God were to ask me, what do you want in life right now? All I can say is, I think the topic was very apt. All I can say is, if I can keep on doing this more and more, to love, that's all. That's all I want to do, to love people. And, you know, whatever challenges I'm facing in making myself a better, enlightened person, more aware person, I like the word that you used a few episodes ago, self-actualization. More self-actualization, better person, and more loving, more caring, more compassionate. If this is what I could do, I'll be leaving this planet a lot more peacefully. That's what I want to do. If that's the only thing I want to ask. Other than that, I thank God. I'm blessed with everything. And I also say this one thing very important, and I want to pass on to those who at this time of the year, they're feeling that you're being wronged or anything. All I can tell you is that it's just a mindset. It's just a mindset when we think that yes, we're being wronged or anything. I think so, I could be wrong. I don't want to judge anyone. Maybe somebody could say, so convenient of you to say these things. You're doing fine in your life, and how convenient of you to say this. But all I can say this to everyone who's watching our show, yes, we're all blessed. Just that we have to look around. We all have our parents. Without parents, we weren't born. Maybe they're not physically or biological with us, but we all have our parents. We have, if I ask myself, I have a million things to thank, a million things to thank. And when I'm saying million things, it's actually even more. I'm breathing fresh air. I have this water besides me. I got food this morning. There are many people who are looking, who are standing in lines, searching for food bank. There are many people who don't have shelter. Imagine somebody standing out in this cold. So there are a million things that I could be grateful to. And this is what I want to pass on to each and everyone who's watching this show. Yes, let's all be very grateful, very thankful, and be very positive. I wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart. If there is anything, I'll pray to God today, and I'm sure Monaji is going to do the meditation. Its meditation is praying. I'll definitely pray that yes, God send their best wishes to you and everyone. Love for all of you. That's all I can wish. But please, if we can try changing a little bit of our mindset and thinking, it's great. It's a great world. We're alive. We're alive. We can do anything. And there's no restriction at all. Let's not follow our limiting beliefs. Even sky is not the ceiling, but there's no such thing as sky. It's just like a scientific thing. So you can do anything, year 2024, 25 and beyond. Set your targets. If you want to achieve anything, do that. But most importantly, I'll wrap up on this thing and then we have to head towards meditation. Most importantly, we all have our God inside. We all have our love inside. I don't need anything for that. I don't even need $1 sitting beside me to feel that love within me. Go out, love your parents, love your siblings, love your friends, hug them. And in case there is any feeling, I don't have any, okay, I'll say that very openly. I don't have any feelings against, I don't consider anybody my enemy. If that was the case, I would have gone there. And if anybody feels that, I'm saying this on air, if anybody feels that way for me, you can call me, meet me, and you'll find this Yudhvir coming and hugging you. But in case you have any feelings, you've not spoken to a friend, you've not spoken to your sibling, any challenges with the co-worker, I think this is the time of the year. Go, just hug them. Just hug them, meet them, and it'll be the best healing possibly for them and most importantly for us as well. That's all I can say. I don't know.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. So I think we can, now you've set this up beautifully, we'll go into a meditative state. So it's always nice to take a few deep breaths, always inhaling very deep. So when you inhale, you want your stomach to expand. So do that with me. We go and release that. And do that a few times. And what I'm going to walk us through is we're going to use the healing energy of nature and we're going to see some rainfall. And as the rainfall comes through, this is a time to experience and think about all the things we want to release and let that rain, this gentle raindrop, as it hits our body, our head, we experience it. Let that be cleansing. And you may think about any challenges that you faced, anything that has created any feeling that does not feel so good within the body. As you hear those raindrops, just let it wash away. Anytime you experienced any feeling of shame, let that just wash away. Maybe you feel guilty about something. Let that go too. We don't need it. There's another day, another time. Any grief that is being experienced, anything you can think of, let that go. As this rain hits your body and you feel the nice cold drops, just let it all wash away. We don't need it. It's the past. It's a faded memory. any fears in any situations that have been created, or what you fear that could happen that has not happened. Let that go. We don't need it. Let it just wash away. Anything that's made you angry, even when you think about it, you get angry. It's okay. Just let that go too. It doesn't serve you. Let it all just wash away. Take a moment. Think about everything that is time to release, and allow what this beautiful nature does for us through the cleansing experience of water. And just let it all wash away. It feels a lot better even when it's gone. Any thought, any feeling that comes up, what's coming up is leaving us. In a way, what's coming is going. Let it go. Let it go. Now, as we've washed all that away, we want to bring in all the wonderful feelings and experiences we've had in life. As this is all gone and it's cleansed our body, our thoughts, our mind, our energetic frequency, here now, we're going to think and bring in some of our most wonderful memories that we've experienced. Think about the time our parents hugged us and gave us so much love. Or the time we used to play with our friends and have so much fun. Those are all feelings in our memory bank that is always available to us. Think about that time where you got the best grade on that test that you studied so hard for. How good did that feel? Or the time you won that prize that you so wanted. Or think about that hug that you received and a good laugh with a friend. Even think about the first time you said, "I love you," and it was returned. These are all there, all those wonderful memories. We experience them as if it were right now. Think about the time where you held that baby and you smelled that newborn smell and you looked into their eyes. And they looked right back at you. How good did that feel? How much love did you experience? Think about that time where you connected with an animal how much love and kindness was shown. These are all the wonderful feelings that we have at all times available to us. Think about that love when you felt it in your body, in your mind, in your heart. Think about that time you felt so good when you worked so hard, whether it was to get fit, an exercise routine, or sport, and you felt so healthy and so alive. Think about the time you taste the most delicious food. The palate and your tongue just loves every flavor, your most favorite dish. Or a very refreshing drink. How good does that feel? These are all experiences of love. The joy and the peace of a morning when you step outside and you experience that sun on your skin, and you can't even really look at the sun, but you can absolutely feel it. And you take a deep breath in, and you know you're alive and you have another chance. These are all experiences of love. You can think about this anytime you want or need. It's always available to you. In a moment, we're going to come right back and have all these memories and feelings available to us. This is how you experience more love. Welcome back, and it was just so simple with the rainfall just washing away everything that needs to go. You can do that in the shower, you can do it as you sit and you play the sounds that we did today, or even step outside when it's raining. It's all just the cleansing, healing energy of the water just washing it away, or the next time you sit in a nice warm bath. You have that all available to you anytime you need to release and just let it go and just breathe it out. And of course, then there's the wonderful feelings, all that memory bank, imagine, of all the wonderful things we've experienced in life. That's available to us, and it's just seconds away. And you can see that the feelings just come rushing back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on this one, that yes, it's as I was talking earlier before we went into this small meditation segment, it's all our mindset. And there is definitely abundance when we think about this universe, what God has given us. We can cherish so many different memories from our childhood. Our parents, they all love us. The time that we spent with our siblings, as you just mentioned. When we grew up, we went to school, we played with our friends, There are so many good memories that will come back to us. And then, of course, as you said, the first time when you say, I love you to someone and it's reciprocated back. And also quickly add on to this thing, imagine the feeling, a very simple feeling. We hug someone, you said that too, but imagine you're being hugged even tighter, And as I was mentioning earlier, we find people who really love us. That in itself is a miracle. I mean, the friends that we have. Today, while you were saying this, when I was thinking, it is nothing short of magic. I mean, my friends, they're like brothers to me. We're not born from the same parents, but of course, they're nothing less than my real brother. I have a younger brother too, but I don't think so. I can pick one or the other. My younger brother and my friends, we're all like brothers. So that feeling. So I'm sure we all have so many good things. Yes, we could have few challenges as well in our lives today or tomorrow, but there are many good things. And thank you for reminding us. And I couldn't agree more that yes, this is the best way to experience more love.
Absolutely. Thank you for spending this time with us for Christmas. You know, it is a holiday season, and as the year comes to an end, it's a nice time to reflect on the year that we just spent and think about our future, what we want to be able to do, how much more love we want to experience, and how loving we want to show up. And this is a great time for friends, for family, and loved ones, and for anybody. And you know, I was thinking about this when you were saying anybody experiencing anything challenging right now, anybody who's experiencing any loneliness right now, here's a good time to be able to reach out to maybe people you haven't seen or heard from in a while, and send them your best, and connect with your loved ones, connect with friends, childhood friends. This is such a nice time to be able to do all that, because everyone could use a little bit more love and a little bit more care, a little bit more, thoughtfulness, which really makes everything so much sweeter.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to this. This is what I've always felt. My character is not defined by anybody else, how they think, how they behave with me. My character is defined by how I behave, how I deal with things. So say for instance, if we haven't spoken to someone, and yes, I also give it a thought that if I send my best to them, if I ask them, then how would they feel? Our ego certain times, oh my God, I mean, why wouldn't they say sorry? Why can't they reach out to me? But then, this is what I tell to myself, let them think what they want. They could easily think that, yes, oh, you're weird. Oh, he said sorry. Okay, here we are. That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine, because my thought process cannot be dictated or defined by anybody else. This is my character. This is who I am. And I only want to, experience giving more love and sharing more love. So I think it's the right time to say our Ho'oponopono prayer.
Absolutely. It's 4 simple sentences, but it's a game changer. It's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you.
Yeah, and this became my mantra for the year 2023, and I'm sure it's going to be my mantra for many more years to come. I have a profession in media where, yes, I share my opinions, I report news, but if knowingly or unknowingly, if I've hurt anyone, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And I'd like to thank each one of you for blessing me, for loving me. So thank you so much. And there is only one thing which I promise you today and forever. I love you.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, and have a happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas, and have a wonderful new year ahead. Thank you so much. Stay tuned with Y Media. Thank you.